George Orwell's highly acclaimed and intensely influential novel 1984 takes place in a dystopian future. This unsettlingly thorough roadmap details the descent of society into a dystopian structure. There are many distinct characteristics that define dystopian settings, from government/technological control, to widespread misinformation/propaganda, to even environmental destruction, and a plethora of other unsavory features. Citizens of Oceania in 1984 are controlled in nearly every aspect of their life. Resource scarcity, along with the disappearance of privacy and rampant lies fueled by propaganda, plagues this fictional superstate. It is even said by the protagonist that Oceania consists largely of underfed people shuffled to and fro. Non-existent civil liberties are also trampled upon in Oceania. Punishment for crimes consists of being abolished, annihilated, a term more commonly used in the novel as being vaporized. This fictional government uses tactics so brutal that an individual can be completely erased from history. Luckily, this controlling government and their devious methods of keeping their citizens in check remain firmly fictional. That is not to say that these issues do not in fact exist. Sadly, issues such as a lack of abundant resources, the blatant disregard of basic civil liberties, and governments encroaching on its citizens' privacy remains a legitimate issue in today's political climate. One of the most glaring offenders in the modern world happens to be the North Korean government. If there were ever a government outside the world of fiction deserving of the term Orwellian, it would be the North Korean government. The term Orwellian refers to something with the characteristic of the writings of George Orwell, especially with reference to his dystopian account of a future totalitarian state, or more specifically, the deceptive/manipulative use of language. It is worth noting that the political structure in North Korea is officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or the DPRK. However, due to the government's intense control and transferal of power, it is widely considered a socialist state or dictatorship. Much like the nefarious party, police can monitor all communications. And according to the Index of Economic Freedom, North Korea's economic freedom score is 5.9, making it the least free of the 180 economies measured in 2019. The comparison of average income per capita between North and South Korea really illustrates the economic troubles of North Korea. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea is also struggling with resource scarcity issues, which were prominent in Orwell's writing. The chocolate ration would be reduced from 30 grams to 20. Just like in the fictional superstate in 1984, citizens of North Korea are receiving state rations that are rapidly declining and lack abundant resources. This is said to have affected nearly 40% of North Korea's population. Even after receiving $8 million in food aid from South Korea, North Korea's disappointing grain harvest would still affect its citizens. Much like the party in 1984, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea uses forced labor from ordinary citizens, including children, to control its people and sustain its economy. The international community has continued to press the North Korean government to engage with UN human rights mechanisms and to accept the act on the findings of the 2014 United Nations Commissions of Inquiry (COI) report on human rights in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, North Korea, which found the government committed crimes against humanity, including extermination, murder, enslavement, torture, imprisonment, rape, and other forms of sexual violence. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea has ratified several human rights treaties and have been found guilty of crimes against humanity by the UN. North Korea's population is drip-fed propaganda, controlled by their government, lack privacy, and have a lack of necessary resources. In many ways, North Korea's population is so controlled, it starts to resemble the population in 1984, with many of George Orwell's warnings in 1984 having come true in North Korea's current environment. Are there any solutions that can remedy this issue? A minimum and ideal quality of life cannot be maintained in North Korea's population. Citizens lack all privacy, are controlled, intimidated, abused, all in the name of control and stability. When the well-being of an entire country's population is in jeopardy, then it is not unreasonable to expect international interference. However, no U.S. negotiators raised human rights issues in subsequent counter-proliferation negotiations with North Korea, meaning other countries need to be capable of combating this neglect and abuse. That, along with awareness, could help combat these conditions.